Kia ora everybody, Chris Farhi here from the Bayleys Insights Data team. We've got Ankur Dakwale talking about the biggest news in New Zealand real estate. Now, it's fair to say we've both kind of lost our voice a little bit, some combination of the annual Bayleys conference and or maybe just getting the back end of a cold. It's all good, we'll struggle through, we'll make this happen. So Ankur, what have we got this week, man?
Yeah, we've got some interesting stats this week. So we've got Trademe's latest rental data that has been released. We've got the government that has introduced more regulation for property managers, snapshot of recent auction sales from Waikato, content from Knight Frank, our global partner, and of course we've got the property of the week.
Yeah, and so first off, we've got some pretty interesting content, residential rent. So we've been chatting about this for a while, migration, all the rest of it. What's our latest data, Ankur?
Yeah, so the latest data by Trademe shows it's $620 per week for the New Zealand median rental rate. This is up $40 on a year-on-year basis. For Auckland, you're looking at $670 per week, and this is up $70 year-on-year, so big jumps. We've been talking about this for a while, so it likely reflects the influx of migration.
Yeah, it's interesting. We had Stats New Zealand's latest stat up around 87,000 net gain over the past 12 months, which actually heaps of people. And yeah, that Auckland median rental rate growing at $70 is roughly 10%, which is pretty massive growth over a single year. Yeah. So we think that that's probably going to put some pressure on first home buyers to get into the market and buy. And we're already seeing that activity across some of the data from like CoreLogic. So yeah, seems to be going down. Next up, Bayleys Commercial. So they launched their latest Total Property magazine. So this is a portfolio of 68 commercial properties across New Zealand. Now there's also a couple of articles in there, Ankur. So what have we got?
Yeah, so the few ones that we do have is Strength in Numbers, and this covers general market conditions that are happening in the commercial market. Better Living, it's an update on the build-to-rent market space, which is quite exciting. Sharing and Caring, which is a article based on our co-working report that we launched a couple of weeks ago. We've got Safest Buildings, which is update on the emerging building safety and upkeep issues for landlords.
Yeah, and that last article is pretty interesting. We've got collaborators from Bayleys Property Services, so our property management division, and also Bayleys Building Consultancy. So yeah, some pretty interesting stuff in there. Next up, the government has introduced its bill for the regulation of residential property managers. And so this will require all professional residential property managers to be qualified and accountable. What do we know about this one, Ankur?
Yes, this is quite interesting because it's going to be applied similar to real estate agents currently. It will be enforced through the real estate authority. Private and public sector landlords that manage their own buildings are currently excluded, so it's only professional property managers that will come as part of this. And so it's going to be, according to Stuart Ben, who's our National Director of Property Services, will be as good as it will improve the quality of property management across the country.
Yeah, and we sat down with him a couple of weeks ago, so if you jump on our YouTube, we've got a discussion with him which includes this topic. Next up, we've got our weekly sales snapshot. This one's powered by the team at Bayleys Auctions with a sample of recent auction sales across the Waikato. And so quick update from the auctions team generally is over the month of July 23, 50% success rate, 650 physical attendees, 2,800 online attendees, and then around 500 bids placed over the month as well. So quite a bit of activity and a definite slight bump in success rates over the past couple of months. And so first off, Ankur, we've got one in Cambridge.
Yeah, so we've got 62 Orua Crescent in Cambridge. Now this is coined a life less ordinary. It's 5 bedrooms, 2 bathroom home on 2,500 square meters, located in the heart of the Pokeno lifestyle development. Initial bidding was followed by a mid-auction negotiation, and it was sold under the hammer for $2.25 million, and it was sold by Amanda Merrington and Melissa Langsford from Bayleys in Cambridge.
Yeah, awesome. And then next up, we've got 3226 Tairua Whitianga Road in Whitianga. So it's a prime location land and lifestyle, 14.43 hectare lifestyle grazing block. Includes a 600 square metre shed. This one sold under the hammer for $1.181 million, or about $81,000 per hectare. Sold by Glenn Tanner and Maddie Libby from Bayleys Thames.
And last one we have is 2 Pams Way in Pokeno in Waikato. This is realistic sellers seek opportunistic buyers. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on 0.49 hectares of a lifestyle block. Nicely landscaped gardens. And this was sold under the hammer for $1.26 million, and this was sold by Ian Buchanan from Bayleys in Pukekohe.
And that Pokeno one's quite interesting because quite often people refer to it as being in the Auckland region. It's actually technically in the Waikato region, so that's one that sort of picks us up on the stats quite often. Next up, going offshore, our global partner Knight Frank has released their latest Prime Global Cities Index for Q2 2023. And so this compares the price growth for prime properties in 46 cities around the world. Ankur, what do we know in this latest release?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because there's been a slowdown around the world with higher interest rates, but we can see that in the prime properties, there's been a 1.5% average annual growth across the 46 cities that they track. In the past 3 months of that is prices up in 57% of the cities and prices down in 30% of the cities as well. Top award taken by Dubai, which has a 48% year-on-year growth.
Yeah, also interesting because if you look at their other residential cities indices around the world, which cover more cities, typically Turkey is at the top, but obviously for this prime index, Dubai sort of shines, which is quite cool. All right, team, so we're nearly there, which is good because we're starting to lose our voices. But to wrap up, we've got our property of the week, and these property of the weeks are selected from the latest Bayleys Commercial Total Property magazine. And so, Ankur, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so I've got a real nice property. I've got 1, 3, and 7 Inlet Road in Takanini, and that's a significant 3.24 hectare industrial site. 13,067 square meters of industrial premises across 4 buildings, holding income on part of the site, rest available to occupy or develop. Great location, just off Great South Road and close to the motorway. And if you want to learn more, please get in touch with Sunil Bana, James Hill, or Shane Snyder from Bayleys Commercial.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then for me, I've got 59 to 65 Orchard West Road in Ngatea and Waikato. So milk this one-stop investment, which is a pretty cool little slogan. 691 square metre commercial premises on a 4,800 square metre site, tenanted by a farm source outlet, which is a rural supplier and community hub, returning 190,000 per annum. If you want to learn more about this one, contact Josh Smith from Bayleys Hamilton. With that said, we'll wrap it up here. So thanks very much, Ankur.
Thanks, Rose.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.